calling me now. And that's the problem that I have with this whole situation. But I am going to save this conversation for Jay-Z. Jay-Z, you're watching. I know you're watching because you got people calling me. Stop having people call me. You can call me yourself. You know how to get my number. You know you got people calling me. Call me yourself, because this right here is going to go viral. The way my job works on the internet, everybody's going to be clipping, sharing on TikTok. Watch this.
Jay-Z's alleged secret son, Rymir Satterthwaite, isn't just claiming to be his blood. He's coming for the whole empire. Rymir isn't holding back anymore, accusing Beyonce of living a decade-long lie, claiming her kids might not even be Jay-Z's. He's pointing fingers at Diddy, saying some of those children could be his, and that the entire Carter marriage was nothing more than a chess move for power and fame. These accusations aren't coming from some wild online rumor mill. They're stamped and filed, officially recorded in court on November 25th, 2024. That lawsuit wasn't just a plea for a DNA test. It called out Jay-Z's legal team for fraudulent court behavior, shady sanctions, and flat-out obstruction of justice. This isn't a simple gossip headline. This is a legal bomb thrown right at the foundation of one of the most polished, PR-protected celebrity legacies on earth.
So we just fought it. Like, it was never to chase anyone or make anyone feel like, we just trying to come up with a plan to take your money. I don't want your money. I'm not. That's not what I'm here for. I'm really here to just find the truth out, and it seemed like that was just so hard to do in these courts. Like, these courts are not.
And the impact? It's already rumbling through every corner of the industry. Rymir hasn't popped out of nowhere either. He's been relentlessly fighting since 2018, pounding on that same wall over and over again, begging Jay-Z to stop hiding and tell the world the truth. But instead of closure, he got nothing but silence. And one icy lyric that burned more than any denial could. The infamous Billie Jean in his prime. The kid ain't mine. That line wasn't just a bar. It was a message, a public dismissal wrapped in rhythm, warning that Jay had no intention of keeping this quiet. And now the official court papers from November are crystal clear. This is way deeper than money, clout, or fame. Rymir's case accuses Jay-Z's camp of twisting the legal system into knots, stealing records, bending judges, and even falsifying property details to block the truth from ever seeing daylight.
Basically, my mom was at a show, and she was with a friend. And I guess her and her friend stayed to, after the show, he was doing little signings and little autographs and stuff like that. I guess he wasn't too big, but I guess females, when the show is over, you can sign little autographs and stuff like that, talk to the people who perform. She said she went up there.
In the court's own words, it's called obstruction, but in street talk, someone's been playing the system like a game of chess, and it's starting to backfire. Now 31, Rymir says it's never been about a check. All he's ever wanted is the truth. The same truth his mother wanted to spend her final years chasing before she passed in 2019. She swore in multiple affidavits that Jay-Z fathered her son after a brief encounter back in 1992, when she was just 16 years old. That detail alone makes seasoned reporters shift in their seats, and it's exactly why every move Jay-Z's lawyers make is under a bright, burning spotlight right now. The first big explosion came way back in 2016, when Wanda's sworn statement finally surfaced in court. She laid it out without hesitation. She had been involved with Jay-Z in '92, an age gap that would be heavily scrutinized today. And by the following summer, her son Rymir was born. At the time, Wanda was still tied to her high school sweetheart, Robert Graves, but by 2010, she was done wondering. She demanded both men take paternity tests, and Graves agreed without hesitation. The results came in. Robert Graves wasn't the father. That should have been the green light for the truth to finally come out. But instead, everything just spiraled into a maze of confusion and contradictions.
A lot of potential. Jay was more quiet. But I mean, I learned that Jay was being quiet because he was taking notes. He was taking notes, observing everything, taking it all in. Because, sometimes you're around and you're watching to see things to do. But some people are around.
What should have been a simple resolution turned into a legal circus, and this is where the story really starts smelling off. The first case kicked off in Pennsylvania, but here's the catch. The law there says paternity disputes must be handled before the child turns 18. By the time Rymir stepped into court over in Camden County, New Jersey, back in 2012, he was already grown. The judge didn't waste a minute tossing it out. Wrong state, wrong timing, too late. The message was clear. Come back with a real plan. It should have ended there, but Jay-Z's lawyers had other ideas. They argued their client couldn't be forced to take a DNA test in New Jersey because he supposedly didn't own any property there. Sounds smooth, right? That is, until investigative reporters started digging and uncovered public records showing Jay-Z tied to multiple properties in both Alpine and Newport, New Jersey. That discovery blew a hole straight through his legal team's argument, and when reporters pressed for answers, Jay-Z's attorney admitted they had misspoke, which everyone knows is legal slang for we got caught red-handed. Now the question is, if they'd lie about something that basic, something anyone could verify in seconds, what else could they be hiding behind those court filings? Every move since then has felt like a carefully choreographed cover-up rather than a confident defense. Jay-Z's legal squad has been performing Olympic-level legal gymnastics.
Remember Diddy and Jay, inseparable at the they just probably best friends. They probably both grew up in New York. They're New Yorkers. I don't know their relationship. I don't know what business they got going on, but they are really close with one another. They are friends.
Bending every rule in sight to frame Rymir's campaign as nothing more than decades-long harassment. Their filings drip with irritation, calling Rymir and his godmother Lily Coley obsessive, delusional, and even deserving of contempt orders. But if their case was truly that solid, why keep dodging the DNA test for over a decade? Why seal documents, shift stories, and pretend Jay-Z has no footprint in New Jersey when public records say otherwise? These aren't innocent mistakes. They look to outsiders like strategic obstruction, plain and simple. And now, with the case climbing its way to federal court, this isn't just about one man's paternity anymore. This is about power, manipulation, and the integrity of a justice system being bent to protect one of music's biggest names. The Carter family image, polished and protected for decades, is now cracking right in front of the world. Jay-Z isn't just a rapper anymore. He's a walking empire, a billion-dollar brand with partnerships, endorsements, and investments all hanging on one thing: his spotless reputation for control. But that control, it's slipping fast, piece by piece, as every new court filing chips away at the perfection they've built. And while the courtroom chaos is loud, the real explosion is happening just outside it, in the whispers, the rumors, and the secrets that refuse to stay buried.
Jay-Z's also been linked or connected in doing business with him. Now, Jay-Z has also been tied to Diddy through rumors and longtime allegations and conspiracies. We've all seen them online, like the one that claims Jay-Z allegedly cheated on Beyonce with Kathy.
Rymir isn't just calling Jay-Z out as a missing father. He's turning the spotlight on Beyonce too, and what he's saying could shatter everything the world thought it knew about their marriage. Insiders close to both sides claim Beyonce's been fully aware of Rymir for years. They say she's not some innocent wife blindsided by old drama. She's a power player, carefully managing every piece of her brand like a chessboard. According to these alleged insiders, Beyonce's built her empire not just on unmatched talent, but on the illusion of a perfect family, the flawless mom, the loyal wife, the queen beside the mogul. It's not love they're selling, it's stability. A narrative powerful enough to keep both their brands bulletproof in the eyes of the media, the fans, and the billion-dollar corporations cutting the checks. And these whispers don't stop there. Oh no, they go much deeper. Behind those glittering stage lights and picture-perfect posts, insiders claim Beyonce's private world looks nothing like the one she presents. The rumors suggest she's had private connections beyond Jay-Z, not just with men, but allegedly with women too. None of the names have been confirmed, but the alleged stories floating around are enough to make even the boldest publicists nervous.
Jay-Z got his whooped by his sister-in-law on camera. What's her name? Solange. You gotta imagine, the feds ain't step in and do nothing. The feds don't care about you getting your ass whooped.
But the most jaw-dropping rumor of all, some insiders are whispering that one or more of her children might not even be Jay-Z's, but Diddy's. That's not just tabloid drama, that's a potential industry earthquake, especially now that Diddy himself is drowning in scandal, with his own empire under fire. Those claims, true or not, could connect two of the most powerful families in music in a way nobody saw coming. If even a piece of this proves real, it could rewrite the entire Carter legacy forever. Officially, there's no birth certificate, hospital record, or verified DNA report suggesting anyone but Jay-Z is the father of Beyonce's kids. On paper, the story checks out. But when it comes to celebrity optics, proof doesn't always matter. What matters is doubt. And once doubt creeps in, even the strongest image starts to crack. Because in the world of A-list branding, perception is power. One rumor, one whisper, that's all it takes for everything to start unraveling. The line that keeps echoing through the industry, sources say Beyonce's empire isn't built on talent alone, it's built on the illusion of a perfect family. Isn't just talk, it's a warning shot to every investor, partner, and brand connected to the Carter name.
How much do I love this artist right here?
Love Beyonce. Down.
Like, what? Everything about her. I've been to every concert. I bought every album. I've been to every concert multiple times. every special she's done, I've watched it. Every interview, every performance. Love. I was there at Beychella. I love Beyonce.
If that illusion fades, their billion-dollar world could come crashing down overnight. What makes these stories so impossible to shake is how they always circle back to the same familiar names and incidents. The dynamic between Diddy and Jay-Z has always been more than friendship. It's been a high-stakes mix of brotherhood and rivalry. Their success stories have grown side by side, their fortunes intertwined, but their reputations have collided more than once under the bright lights of controversy. Now, with Diddy buried under multiple lawsuits, accusations of misconduct, abuse, and other darker acts, the ripple effects are hitting everyone in his orbit. Suddenly, every associate, every friend, and every collaborator is being re-examined under a microscope. This isn't just about who attended the parties anymore. It's about who knew what when they knew it, and how far the silence went.
But Diddy parties and Diddy After Dark are two different things. I want to go on record of saying I never saw Jay-Z at a Diddy After Dark party. Then again, I wasn't there, so I don't know who was there. But I know that I saw Jay-Z at the Diddy.
And in a world where loyalty is bought, that silence might have come with a price tag. Behind closed doors, insiders say the industry is in panic mode. Executives, brand managers, and PR teams are already strategizing the next moves if this situation goes nuclear. Because if Beyonce and Jay-Z's marriage is ever exposed as a contractual alliance, with outside partners involved and any doubts about their children's paternity, it wouldn't just be a scandal. It would be a meltdown. Careers would crumble. Brands would pull out. Lawsuits would fly from every direction. And even their most loyal fans might finally start to question everything they've believed for 20 years. And just when it couldn't get any wilder, new faces keep stepping out of the shadows, adding more layers to this never-ending drama. Only a few months before Rymir's November lawsuit hit the courts, another woman, Letitia Massa, now 28, came forward claiming she's also Jay-Z's daughter from the early 90s. Her own aunt even posted online saying she was the one who hooked your mother and father up. According to Letitia, Jay-Z's been quietly paying her bills, even buying her a house, but allegedly demands total secrecy as part of their deal. None of these claims have ever reached a clear courtroom verdict, but that's not the point anymore. The sheer volume of accusations, all echoing similar stories across decades, has built an atmosphere so thick with suspicion that denials don't end the rumors. They feed them. Each statement, each legal response, each deflection only makes the gossip evolve, grow, and mutate into something even harder to kill. And in a world driven by public opinion, even unproven whispers can be powerful enough to shake an empire to its core. Through every twist of this scandal, Jay-Z's strategy has been one thing: stay calm, stay calculated, and control the conversation. He's mastered the art of silence, never addressing the storm directly, only dropping subtle lines in his lyrics or coded statements about greed, betrayal, and people trying to tear down his family. It's the classic play: keep your image polished while letting the music do the talking.
I think that they don't want, if they was in any of those freak-off tapes, if they played a part in any of those Diddy sessions, they don't want it to get out to the general public to make up their...
But the louder the silence gets, the more people start asking the obvious question. If it's really as simple as, the kid ain't mine, then why not just take the DNA test and end it all once and for all? That one test could close this entire chapter instantly. But since it hasn't happened, the whispers keep multiplying, and the whole story just keeps growing louder, messier, and harder to ignore. Each day that passes without a clear answer makes the theories explode even more, and the longer Jay-Z stays quiet, the more the public starts to wonder, what exactly is being hidden here? Meanwhile, Beyonce's silence cuts even deeper. She spent her entire career building an image of flawless control. Not a hair out of place, not a headline she didn't approve, not a single word to the press that wasn't crafted with precision. But according to insiders, that same control is now turning into a liability. Behind the scenes, there are whispers of strict NDAs, private settlements, and quiet deals being made to keep certain stories buried. And the more people talk, the more that perfect silence starts to look like something else: fear. The gossip isn't just about cheating or hidden kids anymore. It's about how deep the secrecy runs. It's about how much of the Carter empire might be held together by contracts, confidentiality, and legal walls instead of transparency and trust. The new question floating around the industry isn't, is there another secret child? It's what happens if those sealed records finally get open?
This morning, rap mogul Jay-Z is denying allegations he assaulted a 13-year-old girl alongside rapper Sean Diddy Combs. That civil lawsuit filed against Combs in October was amended Sunday to include Jay-Z. The accuser, identified only as Jane Doe, says she was assaulted by both men.
Because if those court files ever see daylight, if those DNA results are ever made public, the impact will be seismic. Fans might start seeing the Carters not as the royal couple of music, but as the ultimate illusionists of fame. Two people who turned family into a product and secrecy into an empire. Would the world still line up for Ivy Park drops or sold-out world tours if the perfect family image they've been buying into was suddenly revealed as a stage-managed mirage? The answer to that might be the one thing Jay-Z and Beyonce fear the most. Would corporate sponsors still stand tall if the world found out that the power couple everyone worships was really just a power contract? Would those luxury brands, tech giants, and global investors still line up behind the Carters if their golden image cracked right down the middle? And then there's Diddy, with his own empire on fire, drowning in scandal and fighting lawsuits left and right. How long before he decides it's every man for himself? When the pressure gets hot enough, would he still protect his friends or start spilling secrets to save his own name?
And very, very honored that I got the response and the open heart, and people welcomed the album. The love I got from the country community tonight really made me feel so seen, and I'm very grateful.
But here's the question that almost no one dares to ask out loud. If Jay-Z really isn't the father of all of Beyonce's children, then who is? What happens when that DNA test finally drops and the truth comes crawling out into the light? As the world waits, the legal tension is climbing fast. Behind the polished courtroom doors, in the quiet corridors outside those federal hearings, reporters are buzzing like hornets, wondering if Jay-Z's lawyers are gearing up for another round of delays, or if this time, public pressure will finally force the test that could end it all. Or worse, ignite the fuse that burns the entire Carter dynasty to the ground. And it doesn't stop there, because the whispers are getting louder by the hour. Talk of new testimony, fresh subpoenas, and unexpected witnesses keep circling through the industry. People who've stayed silent for years are suddenly being named, and insiders are hinting that what's coming next won't just shake one couple. It could expose the entire music machine. This isn't just about personal secrets anymore. It's about how deep the control really goes. From record label politics to brand manipulation, from fame management to silent deals, this story could drag the whole glittering image of celebrity through the mud and force everyone to see how fake the perfection really is. And as those whispers spread, one truth is starting to echo across the industry. Whatever happens next, nothing will ever be business as usual again. The DNA test isn't just about Rymir anymore. It's about Beyonce's legacy, Jay-Z's empire, and the unraveling of an illusion that's ruled the entertainment world for decades. This lawsuit isn't just about a DNA swab and a sealed envelope anymore. It's become a full-scale legal assault on everything the Carters have ever built. What started as a paternity claim has now morphed into a courtroom war that threatens the very foundation of the billion-dollar empire. And every single day, the stakes keep climbing higher. Rymir Satterthwaite isn't just asking for a test anymore. He's demanding accountability. He wants Jay-Z to either step up and take responsibility or finally clear his name once and for all. But it doesn't stop there. Rymir is also suing for damages over emotional distress and reputational harm, claiming that the Carters' legal machine has dragged him through years of humiliation and manipulation. If the court agrees, it could permanently stain Jay-Z's entire legal team, possibly stripping them of credibility and maybe even their licenses. The November 2024 filing pulls no punches. It lays everything bare. It accuses Jay-Z's attorneys of fraudulent actions, alleging they twisted the legal system just to avoid that DNA test. And if that wasn't explosive enough, Rymir's godmother, Lily Coley, has stepped forward too, going public with claims that Jay-Z's team has been running a non-stop campaign to bury the truth. According to her, the power players have gone to shocking lengths to silence anyone who gets too close to the facts. And now, everyone's asking the same question. If the test is so simple, what are they really afraid of?
Still. And then you have celebrities like a Jay-Z. And this is where I think the whole fallout with the Beyonce, she's just kind of in the crosshairs because of all of what's going on in the media with respect to Jay-Z and stuff. But with Jay, you know, when he complained at the Grammys about the Grammys not giving Beyonce Artist of the Year, when she's the most decorated Grammy-winning artist ever, we invited him to be honored at our award show.
On the surface, this might look like a paternity dispute, but underneath it, this is about protecting an image worth billions. The Carters' entire brand, from Jay-Z's business deals to Beyonce's immaculate image, is built on one sacred concept: unity. From the raw heartbreak of Lemonade to the celestial glow of the Renaissance World Tour, Beyonce's storytelling has always leaned on one message: strength, loyalty, and resilience in love. That idea didn't just sell records. It sold out arenas, boosted endorsement deals, and elevated her from pop star to living symbol. But here's the harsh truth. Symbols can't survive cracks. The entire Carter narrative was sculpted around the image of two icons conquering the world together. And insiders say that's exactly why this case is so dangerous. If the courts, the public, or the press ever get undeniable proof that part of that story was fake, that unity was just branding, the damage would be beyond repair. As one insider put it bluntly, Beyonce's brand isn't just music, it's myth-making. And right now, that myth is being dragged into a courtroom that doesn't believe in fairy tales. The image of a flawless marriage, that's the golden pillar Beyonce's empire stands on. But if that image turns out to be a lie, it won't just take a hit, it'll implode from the inside out. Behind the polished smiles and luxury photo shoots, there's real fear bubbling among insiders that if even a single hint of fraud or deception leaks into public view, the whole billion-dollar machine could collapse overnight. This isn't just Beyonce's problem, it's a corporate earthquake waiting to happen. Every brand, every global sponsor, every major investor that tied their reputation to the Carter name has a lot to lose, because their deals don't just depend on Beyonce's music, they depend on her myth. The myth of the perfect woman with the perfect husband, balancing artistry, power, and family all in one glittering image. The financial stakes are off the charts. We're not talking about streaming numbers of the next Ivy Park drop. We're talking global contracts, beauty partnerships, and Hollywood-level projects all balanced on one fragile illusion, that Beyonce and Jay-Z are the gold standard of success and love. They built an empire where their real-life romance wasn't just personal. It was their biggest endorsement campaign. But now, with courtrooms turning into battlegrounds and headlines linking Beyonce's name to words like fraud and cover-up, that golden reputation is starting to rust. Every whisper adds pressure. Every document filing fuels speculation, and the kind of damage control being discussed behind the scenes is giving even the most seasoned PR executives nightmares. They're not just trying to save an image, they're trying to stop a brand from bleeding out in real time. And just when people thought this saga had peaked, Rymir's lawsuit tosses in another grenade. This isn't just about whether Jay-Z fathered a child outside his marriage anymore. It's about truth versus power. It's about a family that spent years selling perfection while quietly dodging questions that could blow that illusion to pieces. If the courts, the fans, or the media ever confirm that the Carter story was built on deception, it won't just end one marriage, it'll rewrite modern celebrity history. Because in an era where image is everything, losing control of the narrative isn't just bad press, it's financial suicide. Then comes the Diddy angle, and it's pure tabloid napalm. What started as vague hints from Rymir has now exploded into a firestorm, backed by supposed industry insiders, and even references in court filings. The claims? That some of Beyonce's children might not belong to Jay-Z at all, but to Diddy. That's the kind of allegation that sends shockwaves through every level of the entertainment world. No one from the Carter camp wants to even whisper about that connection. Especially now, when Diddy's name is plastered across court documents and breaking headlines, facing a storm of accusations that sound like the plot of a Scandal spin-off going off the rails. These aren't just rumors anymore, they're career-threatening implications. Because if Beyonce is linked to Diddy in any way beyond business, if there's even a trace of something personal, the entire Carter image goes from aspirational to scripted deception. Every smiling magazine cover, every wholesome interview, every family-centered ad suddenly starts looking like a well-rehearsed illusion. And that's exactly why the stakes are sky high right now. Diddy isn't just the flashy mogul throwing yacht parties and building brands anymore. He's standing in the middle of a cultural and legal earthquake that's swallowing everyone connected to him. One by one, names from his inner circle are surfacing in lawsuits, investigations, and tell-all leaks that refuse to die down. And if Beyonce's name ever gets tangled in that same mess, even by rumor, the fallout would be catastrophic. Because Jay-Z and Diddy don't just share a history. They share decades of collaboration, mutual investments, and power plays, from high-profile events and award shows to private meetings that were never meant for the public eye. Their careers have been woven together for years, and now every one of those moments is being re-examined under a new light, a suspicious, scandal-hungry light that won't stop digging until it finds something explosive. So when people say these rumors are just idle gossip, they're missing the point. This is reputation warfare. It's a ticking bomb sitting under two of hip-hop's most powerful empires, and if it ever goes off, it won't just burn careers. It could reshape the entire industry narrative. These latest allegations threaten to drag Beyonce, the so-called unshakable queen of control, right into the kind of headlines she spent her entire life avoiding. For years, she's been untouchable, the one celebrity who could rise above the chaos, but now the silence from both her and Jay-Z's camps is deafening. It's the kind of quiet that doesn't calm rumors, it feeds them. Jay-Z's legal team has spent years trying to frame Rymir's crusade as nothing more than a cash grab, labeling it decades-long harassment and trying to paint him as obsessed. But the longer this drags on, the harder that story is to believe. Every delayed filing, every dodged question, every time they dance around giving a straight answer under oath, it starts to feel less like confidence and more like panic. The calm, calculated mogul image is slipping, and what's left looks like a man desperately trying to keep the truth from surfacing. And when you zoom out, the timeline says everything. After years of lawsuits, sealed files, affidavits, and motions, Jay-Z has never once stood in open court, raised his right hand, and flat out denied paternity. Not once. The closest he's ever come was a slick lyric dropped in a verse. "The kid ain't mine." Sure, it plays great in a stadium full of fans, but in a courtroom, it's worth nothing. And that's exactly what keeps fueling the speculation. Because if it's really nonsense, why not just settle it and move on? Why not silence it with one simple test? Meanwhile, Beyonce's camp has gone on total lockdown, tighter than a classified government file. No press statements, no denials, not even the usual PR line of "we don't comment on personal matters." Nothing. The silence is absolute, and that's what's making people talk even more. Behind the scenes, insiders say her team is terrified of saying the wrong thing, because at this point, even a single misplaced word could send shockwaves through an already volatile situation. And for someone who's built her entire career on discipline, precision, and control, that kind of fear speaks volumes. So as the world watches, both camps are playing a dangerous waiting game, one where every second of silence makes the truth feel closer, louder, and more unavoidable than ever. The only thing slipping through the cracks right now are the whispers, the quiet, nervous confessions from insiders, assistants, and longtime industry veterans, and they're all saying the same chilling thing: Beyonce is terrified. Not just of what a DNA test might confirm about Jay-Z and Rymir, but of what it could reveal about her entire family timeline. Behind the walls of the Carter Empire, people are murmuring that there's more at stake here than anyone wants to admit. Even with all the lawsuits, sealed documents, and gag orders, one thing's become clear. The Carters' legendary ability to control the press is slipping. The fortress they've built around their image is starting to crumble, and the more they try to reinforce it, the more cracks begin to show. Lawyers might be circling like sharks, but outside those courtrooms, the questions just keep getting sharper and more dangerous. Because now, the speculation isn't just about Jay-Z's alleged son, it's about what that means for Beyonce's entire narrative. If Rymir's claims are true, and the court finally forces that DNA test, it won't just shake Jay-Z's reputation. It could send shockwaves straight through Beyonce's carefully curated world. Fans and analysts are already asking the impossible. If one light collapses, does the rest of the story fall with it? And then comes the question no publicist wants to touch. If the most meticulously crafted marriage in show business turns out to be a boardroom alliance instead of a love story, who loses the most? Is it Jay-Z, the businessman whose empire was built on dominance? Beyonce, whose brand thrives on authenticity and empowerment? Or the massive corporations who've bet billions on selling their image of black love perfected? Every leak, every small piece of court information that escapes into the public fans the flames higher. And what makes this moment different from any past scandal is the timing. 2024 has already been a year of collapsing icons, trusted faces losing credibility, artists once untouchable now trapped in federal investigations, and celebrity divorces rocking industries built on illusion. But this feels bigger. It's not about something buried in the past. It's about what's unraveling right now, in real time, under the brightest spotlight they've ever faced. The walls are closing in, and silence won't hold forever. Because once the truth breaks through, whether from a DNA test, a leaked file, or a witness who refuses to stay quiet, it won't just expose a family secret. It could mark the end of an era where fame and myth ruled over truth. As much as people want to believe that some scandals can be cleaned up with a charity check and a smiling photo op, this one isn't going away that easily. This isn't the kind of story that fades after a heartfelt interview or a foundation donation. This is the kind that reshapes industries. Because when you look at the bigger picture, the domino effect becomes impossible to ignore. If Jay-Z's empire crashes under the weight of a paternity scandal and a failed cover-up, it won't stop with him. It could trigger a full-on chain reaction that shakes the entire entertainment world. How many other perfect celebrity couples, those flawless A-list images, could come tumbling down next if one of the biggest names in the game gets caught in a lie? Behind the scenes, that's exactly what executives and insiders are whispering about. From record label CEOs to corporate sponsors, everyone's holding their breath, bracing for impact. The quiet panic across boardrooms and studios is real, because if the Carters fall, the ripple effect will reach every brand, every endorsement deal, and every fake fairy tale the industry's been selling for decades. Some insiders are calling it the biggest potential meltdown since the last major Hollywood reckoning, and this time, there's no guaranteed comeback tour waiting on the other side. But the legal chessboard is only half the story. The other half is a war for the narrative. It's unfolding across social media, late-night monologues, and the gossip circuits that stretch from New York to Los Angeles. Every tweet, every headline, every speculative podcast is another bullet in the PR battlefield, and Beyonce's legendary silence, once her ultimate weapon, is now backfiring. That image of being untouchable, once seen as regal, now looks suspicious to fans. People are asking what's hiding behind the silence. Every cryptic Instagram caption, every overly perfect family photo, every subtle detail gets picked apart like a crime scene. And the same fans who once said they'd follow Queen Bey anywhere are starting to raise eyebrows, asking the questions no one ever dared to ask before. How much of this was ever real? What else have we been sold all these years? Jay-Z may have invented the modern celebrity pivot, turning controversy into cash and chaos into headlines. But even the sharpest PR minds can't outrun the truth forever. The silence, the control, the perfection, it all worked until it didn't. And as the saying goes in the world of public relations, if you don't tell your story, someone else will. And right now, that someone else is the entire world, watching, speculating, and ready to rewrite the Carter legacy themselves. Right now, it's Rymir and his legal team controlling the story, while the Carters stand silent, leaving the entire playing field wide open. And the longer they wait, the more power they lose. Every day of silence is another opportunity for someone else to shape the narrative, twist the facts, and decide how history remembers them. We've seen this movie before. When industry secrets finally see daylight, the fallout is brutal. Careers don't just stumble, they explode. Fortunes vanish overnight, sponsors vanish even faster, and fans who once defended their idols with passion turn into their loudest critics. The entertainment world thrives on illusion, but when those illusions crack, there's no saving face, not even for royalty. And now, at the center of this storm sits one thing, that DNA test. It's more than just a paternity question, it's the ticking clock that could redefine everything. If it ever happens, it won't just determine whether Jay-Z is Rymir's father, it could finally reveal who Beyonce really is behind the curtain. It could expose whether the so-called greatest love story in music was ever genuine or just a billion-dollar performance sold to the world. So the real question is, will the Carters finally speak up and face it head on? Or will the empire they built on secrecy, silence, and spectacle be the next to fall? Because when you've built your legacy on perfection, even one truth too big to hide can bring the whole castle crashing down. But now I want to hear from you. What do you think? Will the truth ever come out, or are some secrets just too deep, too powerful to ever see the light of day? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Hit that like, share, and subscribe button so you don't miss what's coming next. Because in a world where nothing is ever what it seems, one headline can change everything. Until next time, keep your eyes open and stay tuned, because the next twist might just rewrite the story of the century.